What's up, guys? Jordan McAbee here, fantasyracingonline.com, home of the Slingshot Fantasy Auto Contest, and today we're going to make some picks for New Hampshire and the Foxwoods Resort Casino 301. New Hampshire Motor Speedway, it's a 1.058 mile racetrack. It's a flat track. Running the 750 horsepower package this weekend. So we're going to look into the races in that package, as well as flat tracks overall. So the most comparable tracks to New Hampshire, or Loudon, you can call it either. I always call it Loudon just because it's easier, are Phoenix and Richmond. You can also throw in Martinsville. It doesn't, just because it's short and flat, but it really doesn't compare great to Loudon. Really, you're looking at the Phoenix race. If you're looking at this year's data, you're looking more at Phoenix. You're looking at Richmond, which are both super similar to each other. And then recent track history here at Loudon is probably what I would focus on. We can go back and look at, and we will go back and look at Martinsville and Nashville, because Nashville is kind of a flat track, but it's still, it's not Loudon, it's not Phoenix, it's not Richmond. So, in my opinion, it's best to kind of focus on those three tracks this weekend, and definitely focus mainly here at New Hampshire, because a lot of the same drivers that are good at. We know who the good drivers are at these short flat tracks, and there's no reason to think that that's going to change this weekend. So, starting lineup, we got Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr. on the front row, Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch, Alex Bowman, Denny Hamlin rounding out the top 6, Blaney, Reddick, Bell, and Larson rounding out top 10. Place differential plays, we got Keselowski starting 11th, Harvick 12th, Logano 15th, Byron 16th. Got a lot of solid options this week. A little further back, we got Almirola starting 22nd. We'll get into why he is so good on this track type. Ryan Newman, who's been super disappointing for fantasy owners lately, but he's starting 28th, so you can't ignore that place differential play. Same with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 29th, and Daniel Suarez starting 31st. Let's take a look at just like the total data from flat tracks from 2020 and 2021. So with this, we are looking at, we have 2 Phoenix races in 2020, a Loudon race, a Richmond race, and then Phoenix and Richmond from this year. So that gets us 6 races for most drivers. Kyle Larson only has 3 within that span, just because of his suspension last year. But it gives us a nice data set of 6 races, very recent. You can also go back and look at like 2019, 2018. 2019, you can probably, not count as much. And we got into this on the Stacking Dennings podcast this week. Rotodoc and I did, as to why you can throw out 2019. So if you're looking to go back, it's probably better to go look at 2018 as opposed to 2019. I'm focusing more on 2020, 2021, and recent flat tracks, short flat tracks, during that time span, as well as the 750 horsepower package this year in 2021 overall. So best average finish over those 6 races is Joey Logano at a ridiculous 2.7 average finish. He has not finished worse than 4th at Richmond, Phoenix, or New Hampshire over the last 2 years. Brad Keselowski, average finish 5.5. Penske is very strong on these short flat tracks. Even we see Matt DiBenedetto up there with a solid average finish of 11.2. Ryan Blaney, always, he has good finishes, he has bad finishes, but he's typically pretty strong. Also up there, Chase Elliott, 6.5 average finish, Denny Hamlin, 7.2, Kevin Harvick, 8.5, Truex, 8.8, all very solid. And there's Eric Almirola also at 8.8. William Byron, Alex Bowman kind of struggle a little bit at this on this track type, but without the seasons that they are having this year, plus Bowman won at Richmond, it would not be surprised to see them perform better than they have on shorter flat tracks over the last 6 races. Average running position, it's very similar. Typically with shorter flat tracks, we see the guys get to the front and they basically stay there all race unless they have an issue. So Logano 3.7, Keselowski 5.0, Harvick, Truex, Hamlin all in that 7 range, and then Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Eric Almirola right up there as well. When you look at actual dominator points, you look at fastest laps over these 6 races, it's the same guys every single time. Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott. That's who it's been. Also, I mean, you have to take into account Kyle Larson. We'll get into him a little bit later when we go through the actual picks. And then Kyle Busch, who's on the pole, should be strong, has been very strong at New Hampshire in the past. Has had a couple rough runs here recently, but with how that team's running, you have to think that they're going to outperform. Laps led, it's pretty much the same 6 guys. Keselowski leading the way at 518, Joey Logano 422. So you have Penske there, almost with 1,000 laps led at this track type over the last 6 races. You add in Ryan Blaney's 41 laps led, and you're right there, almost at 1,000. Denny Hamlin's third best at 377. Chase Elliott, you remember he won Martinsville last year. He won Phoenix last year. His numbers are kind of inflated by those. He's still solid, but maybe not. Just keep that in mind when looking at, laps led, fastest laps. Truex is up there, 182. Harvick, 114. Austin Dillon had a really strong, I think, Richmond race last year. Probably had the best car. He had a couple penalties that ruined his day. But, yeah, we know we should know who's going to dominate here on Sunday, and we shouldn't see too many surprises. Let's take a look at let's look at average running position of the races, the flat track races, this season. So Phoenix, Logano dominated most of that. Truex won it at the end, but Logano, Hamlin, Keselowski, Blaney, Truex, all right up there. Kevin Harvick, Christopher Bell was very strong in that race, finished 9th. William Byron finished 8th. Kyle Larson probably had, I would say, he had the strongest car for most of that race. It kind of fell off at the end. He had I think 2 or 3 speeding penalties. He had to start in the rear because of failing inspection. If he would have started where he should have, I think he would have been a contender in that race. And then Chase Elliott, who finished 5th, had the 10th best average running position. But you see some of those other guys that I mentioned before. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is right up there. Matt DiBenedetto, Eric Almirola again were very strong at Phoenix earlier this year. Looking at Richmond, best average running position, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Martin Truex Jr. They finished 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. Remember, Alex Bowman won this race. Kevin Harvick was right up there. Christopher Bell was up there. He actually finished 4th. He had the 5th best average running position. William Byron, always strong this season. A little rough patch going through right now, but before that, he's been super strong. Bowman, Kyle Busch, Keselowski, Austin Dillon, all within the top 10 of average running position. Then we got Matt DiBenedetto, Eric Almirola, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, a lot of the same guys. These short flat tracks, we don't see a lot of things change. We know who's good at these tracks. It's just kind of nailing, which ones. You can basically throw a blanket over 1 through, I'd say 7 maybe, and it's just get them in the right order then, and which one's going to, win the race, finish top 3 as opposed to 7th. But unless something crazy happens, we shouldn't see too many surprises here on Sunday. Just for shits and giggles, we'll look at Martinsville. Denny Hamlin, number 1 in average running position. I had an average running position of 1.8 in that race. Ryan Blaney, who's always very strong at Martinsville, 2nd best average running position. Truex 3rd, Elliott, Byron, Logano, Larson, Christopher Bell again up there. Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Newman, Dillon, Bowman, Reddick, Buscher. Like I said, Martinsville, it just races different than New Hampshire does, and definitely like Phoenix. Martinsville's a half mile. Richmond's a full mile. They have similar how they're laid out, but they're just so different. You can look at the Martinsville data if you want. I just wouldn't go super heavy on it. And just we'll look at Nashville quick. Of course, Larson just absolutely killed everybody in that race. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was very solid in that race, and believe it or not, Eric Almirola had this 3rd best average running position at Nashville this year. Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain, Kurt Busch, all solid as well. Again, Christopher Bell was solid again. He finished 9th, had the 12th best average running position in that race. Looking over at my algorithm predicted finishing order, it's got Martin Truex Jr. winning the race here at New Hampshire on Sunday. Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, top 5. Harvick, Larson in 6th and 7th. I put a paragraph up about Kyle Larson in this article. Take that with a grain of salt. We don't have a ton of 2021 short flat track data to go off of. It's the only data that he's in the Hendrick car. He was in Ganassi equipment, and he's had good runs here at Loudon in the past. So I could still see Kyle Larson winning this race. No reason. I think 7th is too low of a ranking. That's just where the algorithm ended up on him. But as you can tell, pretty much 4th through 7th there is very close, within 4 points of each other. Obviously, it really likes Truex, really likes Hamlin, and really likes Logano this weekend. So Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott rounding out the top 10. Got Bowman, Byron, Almirola predicted to finish 13th. Christopher Bell to finish 14th. I also talked about him in the article. Make sure you check that out. I think he has much higher upside than that. Matt DiBenedetto right there as well in 15th. So let's take a look quick at the 750 horsepower package. Best average finish this year. So these 5 races at 750 horsepower, and I don't particularly love looking at these numbers. Just because, so we got Phoenix, we got Martinsville, which I said doesn't compare super well to Loudon. Got Darlington, doesn't compare super well to Loudon. Got Dover, doesn't compare super well to Loudon. Nashville doesn't compare super well to Loudon. So take these numbers with a grain of salt. There's going to be, some overlap here on who's good, but I really think you need to focus more on the short flat tracks as opposed to putting a ton of emphasis. Yeah, okay, how I would rank putting emphasis this week. Shorter flat tracks, number 1. Number 2, Loudon in particular. Number 3, 750 horsepower package this year. Number 4, Martinsville. Number 5, Nashville. That's how I'd rank them, and there'd be a pretty big gap between the 750 and that. Well, I don't know. Anyway, that's my rank. Definitely focus a lot more on the shorter flat tracks than anything else this weekend. But average finish in the 750 horsepower package this year: Kyle Larson 3.4, William Byron 4.6, Chase Elliott 6.0. Got Harvick up there at 6.4, Logano at 7.2, Hamlin, Truex, Bell rounding out the top 8. Chastain actually, and then Stenhouse the top 10 when it comes to average finish. Average running position this year in the 750 horsepower package: Denny Hamlin number 1, 4.7, Kyle Larson 5.9, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, William Byron right there in the 7s. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., and Kevin Harvick right there at the 8s. And then there's a pretty decent gap back to Alex Bowman at 13.0, and then Christopher Bell rounding out the top 10 at 13.2. Dominator points has pretty much been Kyle Larson. 332 fastest laps in this package, 528 laps led. Somewhat closer behind, but still a good gap, is Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin. Both have about, Truex has 166 fastest laps, Hamlin has 142. Laps led, Truex has 348, Hamlin 316. And then there's a giant gap back to, Chase Elliott has 95 fastest laps, Bowman has 83. Logano does have 149 laps led, Blaney has 192. I think most of those were at Martinsville. But you get the point on Larson's been very good in this package. A lot of his Dominator points and everything came from Dover and Nashville, though. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, I think we need to focus more on just the shorter flat tracks in general, and this shouldn't be too complicated of a race. You got Phoenix, Richmond, and Loudon, and just hyper focus on those. That'd be my suggestion this week. And with the starting lineup, I think it's pretty easy to put together a Slingshot team this week. So going over to the Slingshot driver salaries. First and foremost, Joey Logano there's 0% chance that he's not in my lineup this week. Safest option I think there is on this. You look at his finishes on short flat tracks over the last 2 years. Phoenix, I'm going to go by race. First, third, fourth, third, second, and third. He starts 15th. You get 2 points per place differential, plus or minus 2 points per place differential. Joey Logano at 11,300 in this game is a complete no-brainer. That's all I have to say. Yeah. So that's where I'd start. Throw Logano on there. As far as, I don't think you need to go super deep into the driver pool this week. I don't think you need to hit Corey LaJoie or Ryan Preece or Michael McDowell. I think you can live kind of in this area right here. So like Eric Almirola, who starts 22nd. Algorithm thinks he has top 10 potential. He has, looking at the short flat tracks over the last 2 years, finishes of 8th, 13th, 7th, 8th, 11th, and 6th. This is a type of track that he really excels at. Yes, he's disappointed fantasy owners many, many times this year. But 11th at Phoenix this year, 6th at Richmond. Going even further into, if we want to look at Martinsville and Nashville, let me pull this up really quick. He was 20th at Martinsville, which he started 31st. So it kind of makes sense that, he didn't get super high up. But Nashville, he finished 4th. Almirola did. So definitely, I love Almirola this week. I think Stenhouse is in play. I think Stenhouse is a pretty... here, let me just pull this up quick. I think Stenhouse is a pretty safe option. He starts 29th, and looking at shorter flat tracks, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Let me pull this up really quick. And why can't I find this? So he was 14th at Loudon last year. He was 18th at Richmond, 12th at Phoenix this year, 17th at Richmond this year. Starting 29th, if he gets mid-teens, that's going to be a great score in the slingshot game for a low salary guy like that. Looking at Stenhouse's record here at New Hampshire specifically, 14th last year, like I said, he was 15th in 2017 and 14th, 10th back in 2016, 13th back in 2015. Yes, he's had some bad finishes here, but that's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That's what happens. He starts 29th. If I'm not putting him on the lineup, I'm putting Daniel Suarez, who starts 31st. He's had decent runs here at New Hampshire when he had good equipment. You can obviously throw out last year with Gaunt Brothers, but he still finished 26th last year, which is good for where that team was. Back in 2017, he finished 6th and 8th here, 22nd and 19th, the two races afterwards. Looking at just looking at this season on the shorter flat tracks, Suarez was 21st at Phoenix, and he was 16th at Richmond this year. So, yeah, starting 31st, if he can get up, 17th, 15th, very solid points day. So that's probably where I would stick when it comes to the lower drivers, is probably between these three. Obviously, you could make a case for Cole Custer. He finished, I think, 8th here last year at New Hampshire. I just don't see the point of... I'd rather go with the drivers that are a little bit more... Yeah, he did finish 8th last year. And Stuart Haas should be pretty decent this week overall. But I just don't see... I love Almirola this week. Stenhouse, I think, is very safe for his flat track record. And Suarez, he can easily challenge probably for a top... He could end up top 10. So I'd probably pick two of those three. If you want to save cap, do Stenhouse and Suarez. Plus, they start a little bit further back than Almirola. But like I said, I think Almirola has higher upside. There is Ryan Newman there starting 28th. It's Newman. I don't know what's going on with that team. As far as this game goes, I don't love Newman. He'll probably be top 20 if nothing goes wrong, but it seems like everything's going wrong with that team. A couple other sleepers, you got like Bubba Wallace, who starts 18th. That team is running a lot better right now. I think they could have top 12 upside, but that's not the same upside as Stenhouse and Suarez for me. So just not really seeing that. Chastain's there. And you get much higher than that, and you're basically needing, if you're putting a $9,000 or 80, if you're putting Matt DiBenedetto in your lineup starting 14th, you probably need a top 5 finish out of him for it to make sense in this game, and for the risks to be worth it. Is it possible? Absolutely. Like I said, Penske, which he's basically driving a third Penske car or a fourth Penske car, is really strong at this track type. DiBenedetto, the last 2 races at New Hampshire, 6th and 5th. So yes, the potential is there. Am I going to take a risk with DiBenedetto? I'm not, because that's not how I play this game. And am I going to fault you for doing it? Absolutely not, because I see the upside. And especially if you're a DiBenedetto fan, this is a great week to pick him. I also talked about Christopher Bell in my article for this game. I think he has top 5 upside. He was running top 5 here last year in the Levine car. Had 2 flat tires, so really derailed his race. But you look at, he finished 9th at Phoenix this year. He finished 4th at Richmond. Bell was really, really, really good here in the Xfinity Series. I could see if I'm feeling super risky this week, I will take a shot on Bell. But there's a 99% chance that it's going to be the 3 lower drivers for me. 2 of the 3 lower drivers for me are going to be Almirola, Stenhouse, and Suarez. Like I said, I don't think you need to go far down to the Corey LaJoys. I don't think you need to go that far this week with starting with Logano and then building around it. So let's just say, we have Logano, Stenhouse, Suarez, that leaves 23,400 left for the last 2 drivers. So let's go with, Kyle Larson. Always a threat to win. He's finished 2nd or 3rd here at New Hampshire, I think 4 times in his career. You have to you got Kyle Larson starting 10th. He's finished 2nd or 3rd in 4 of his 10 starts here with Ganassi. He's now in Hendrick. He's now in this 750 horsepower package this year. He's been absolutely dominant. You have to, he has to be on your radar. Do I like maybe building a more central lineup and not having to reach so high with Larson? Yes, I think there's opportunity to go with a Kevin Harvick or Brad Keselowski because, 12,500 in this game is still pretty high. But at the same time, Kyle Larson has race-winning potential. And with this lineup, Larson, Logano, Stenhouse, Suarez, you can then throw in Brad Keselowski and finish out your lineup. Keselowski starts 11th. He's always very strong on this track type. He does have a couple blunders at times, though, which is a little concerning with how that team's running right now. I don't view Keselowski as a guaranteed pick to do well. But at the same time, could he win this race? Yes. And so looking at last year on the shorter flat tracks, Keselowski finished 2nd at Phoenix. He won Loudon and he won Richmond. In the championship Phoenix race, he finished 4th. Now, looking at, that wasn't. In the second Phoenix race, he finished 2nd, and then he won Loudon and Richmond. This year at Phoenix, Keselowski finished 4th. He came back and ran 14th at Richmond, and he was 11th in the first Phoenix race last year. I can definitely see this. This isn't a bad lineup for me at all. I can see doing this. As far as my only concern would be Keselowski here, but again, you got Larson here to kind of definitely anchor that. I think Logano's an anchor, and then Stenhouse and Suarez are safe. If you didn't want to go Larson, Kevin Harvick is very solid at New Hampshire in general. He's very solid at flat tracks. Taking a look at his record here at New Hampshire, 5th, 1st, and 1st over the last 3 races. He had a wreck here in 2017, but before that, 5th, 1st, 4th. He led 216 laps in 2015, but ended up finishing 21st. I think that's when he ran out of gas, if I remember right. And then before that, 3rd and 3rd. He is so good at Loudon. And yes, I know Harvick has been struggling overall, but at the same time, Harvick finished 6th at Phoenix this year. Had an issue at Richmond, finished 24th, but I think he should be good for a top 5. I think he should contend for a top 5. He should be solid top 10. And this allows you then enough cap space to go with Kyle Busch or Martin Truex Jr. with the last spot in your lineup. If you wanted to go Harvick, Logano, Suarez, Stenhouse. If I'm going to throw Harvick on here though, I'm probably going to take off Suarez and go up to Almirola, and then probably either grab William Byron or Brad Keselowski in this final spot. You know, obviously guys starting first and second don't have the place differential potential as guys starting 11th or even Byron starting 16th. Then again, they do have the state. Like I fully expect Martin Truex Jr. or Kyle Busch to probably lead the most laps on Sunday, which is 10 points in this game. I think they're both going to get solid stage points. I think Hamlin's going to be very strong as well. He could lead the most laps, but I do think it's going to come down to Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. So definitely guys to consider. If you don't want to go down to Keselowski in this price range. At the same time, though, if you want to be on Almirola, you can't go Harvick, Logano, and do that with Stenhouse. But what you could do is, go up here to Truex, go Truex, Logano, Kez, Almirola, Stenhouse, or switch Stenhouse to Suarez and go Truex, Logano, Byron, Almirola, Suarez. And then, of course, if you want, Stenhouse, Suarez as your bottom two, hit Denny Hamlin, who starts 6th, has a little bit of place differential potential. That leaves you $200 to then, I wouldn't go off of Logano and go to Harvick, but yeah. If I'm gonna do that line, I'm probably gonna go Kez and Larson. But there's definitely room for Byron and Hamlin as well, or even Hamlin and Kez. Looking at Byron on flat, he hasn't excelled really. He's been getting better. So 10th at Phoenix last year, 9th in the second Phoenix race, 11th here at Loudon, 21st in the 2020 Richmond race. He was 8th at Phoenix this year, 7th at Richmond. He's improving. And then here at Loudon specifically, I think he's improved every race he's been in so far. 14th the first year, 12th in 2019, and then 11th last year. So definite upside for Byron starting 16th. Place differential, I'm not sure he gets the stage points though that someone like Truex, Kyle Busch, Larson, or Harvick would get. So, or even Keselowski for that matter. But that's where I am kind of focusing my picks. That's pretty much where I'm going to go this week in the Slingshot Contest. Good luck this weekend at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, aka Loudon. And this is race 22, and then we have a 2-week break for the Olympics. So enjoy the race, good luck, and remember to come back after this 2-week break. I know a lot of people kind of forget about NASCAR when we have 1 week off in the summer. So 2 weeks is going to be interesting to see, just how many people continue to play, especially DFS. There's always a shift there, but yeah, good luck. And if you have any questions, just let me know. See you later.